What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and help you guys better understand the price action of NIO and what you should be anticipating for the future. I'm also going to talk about what's going on with the news from Russia, from Ukraine to the Fed, and how these things may affect NIO going into the future. I'm also going to talk about what the NIO report on their Twitter page that still makes me very bullish for the future of this company, even though we are a little bit in the red right now. Now, before I get into any more details, before I talk about what's actually going on, I do have to mention some very important things first. The first thing is I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below in the description. If you do sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're not only going to qualify for up to 5 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500, but you're also going to be granted access to the Hong Kong exchange. So if you want to invest in NIO through the Hong Kong exchange, you will be able to do that starting March 10th once NIO lists on there. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at NIO, we're currently down about 4.25% for the day. We ended up dropping quite a bit because of the news that came out. And even though this happened, guys, I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm still very bullish for this company going forward. And I believe we're very close to the very bottom before this thing starts to rip, starting in Q2 to Q3 of this year. Now, here's the reason why I'm saying this. If you look at what happened to NIO, overall, we were on this downward trend. We are in the red right now. But if we look at the entire market was taking some massive hits. We're seeing the VIX starting to go up by about 10.51%. We're seeing Apple kind of in the red as a result of that. And, the entire market from crypto to the NASDAQ, they're all taking massive hits. You can see the NASDAQ's down 1.59%, affecting tech stocks. And as a result, guys, NIO did have a lot of downward momentum because of this. It didn't end up running as high as some people have anticipated, but I'm not scared whatsoever. Like I said, I'm not worried. I think NIO's $20 to 21.75 level of support did end up holding up pretty well and actually doing a little bit better compared to before. I mean, if you go back over the last few months, it was descending, but right over here, we start to see this trend reversal that started, and since then we've been holding up. We're slowly going to start just stepping our way up, and once the market improves, once the conditions improve, that's when we're going to see NIO soar to the moon, in my opinion. So let's look at this right here. The current situation in Ukraine is becoming a little bit more tense. We're seeing Russia, really hammering Ukraine and sending more airstrikes and doing very, very, hurtful things. And things like this happen. It's part of life. It's very sad. And this is also going to be affecting the market because we know that there's a lot of ambiguity that's associated with this. And that's the reason why we're seeing Jerome Powell actually coming in front of the US Congress very soon. I believe he's going to come up tomorrow. He's going to discuss the new policy changes and how on earth this whole situation is going to affect it, given what's happening in Russia, and what his plan is to address inflation given these concerns. So we're going to see to what degree is the Fed going to change their bond buying, to what degree are they going to sell more bonds? He's going to answer some questions about that if there are any changes about that. He may even give some insight on interest rate hikes. I'm not sure if it's going to happen this early. It may end up doing that. So I want you guys to be prepared for that, as that could heavily affect the market. So the other big piece of news that I want to talk about is this right here. Obviously, this article is exaggerating, but they're talking about the fact that NIO dropped kind of hard after what they did report from their February deliveries, and in turn is something that happens to a lot of EV companies with lots of potential, because there were times where people had very high expectations for Tesla, and even though Tesla had a good earnings, good reports, it didn't necessarily meet the expectations people set, so it ended up dropping because of that, and that is what happened to NIO. So this is what NIO reported on their Twitter page. It still is bullish news. It's just that it didn't happen to the degree in which people wanted. Basically, NIO delivered 6,131 vehicles in February, increasing 9.9% year over year, and 15,783 total vehicles in 2022. That's a 23.3% increase year over year. Those are the cumulative deliveries for the ES8, ES6, and EC6 reached 182,853. Once again, guys, that's a really good number. It's just that their numbers did drop a little bit in February when it comes to expectations. I think people expected something a little bit higher than that. So I'm going to try to bring up the picture next to us. You guys can see it right here. The numbers are showing. They delivered 6,131 vehicles in February of 2022. And you guys can see they beat it pretty well in January. In February, it's not as or like that much higher than last year, and that's because of the global chip shortage that's kind of slowing them down. But I don't see this as an issue going forward because they are going to be improving their production capabilities relatively soon. So going into the future, where do I see NIO share price going? I think we found our bottom at 1848. I don't see us dropping that low again. I think we're bouncing between support and resistance. We have resistance at 2301. We have support at the I would say the 20, I would say 21 is where our support is. We also have support at around, I believe it's 20, I'm sorry, 21.5 is another level of support. So those both should hold up pretty darn well. But going into tomorrow, guys, I think there is some bearish momentum that's going to perpetuate, and we may end up testing the $21 level of support, bouncing off that and closing around 21.50. So that's what I predict going into the future. Let's just do some in-depth technical analysis now before we end this video, because we're also seeing other indicators of how RSI began to decline a little bit. We were before at around, what is that, 50? That's around 52. Now we're currently at around, I believe it's 38. Yeah, 38. So right now, guys, things aren't in the most perfect of states. We're seeing some flips between the positive and negative lines of the DMI, which are indicating that we could continue to dip, but the MACD still flipped with the 9-day moving average, showing that NIO could have some bullish momentum perpetuating over time. So this is an indicator that even though we could drop tomorrow a little bit more, close at 21, I think that we're going to most likely continue to trade a little bit sideways and slowly find our way up as we start to see more confirmation about the policy changes from the Fed and the changes coming out for the entire market. So with that said, guys, this is what I want you guys to think about. Right now, it is an election year, right? We have midterm elections in the United States. And what typically happens, or something that has been notorious for happening, is a very weak Q1, followed by a stronger Q2 and much stronger Q3, right? So in that time frame, what I'm anticipating is as we approach Q2, after the Fed gives their new confirmations, because right now there's a lot of uncertainty about how, to what degree the Fed is going to be raising rates and all these things. We want more we want more certainty first. There's too much uncertainty right now. The market likes certainty. Once we get more and more certainty from the jobs reports, from what the Fed is doing, the whole Ukraine situation, I know things are escalating. It's very sad, but once we get those confirmations, I think things are going to look better for the market and NIO as a whole. So I do anticipate that, I would say, the next few weeks should start to improve, followed by a very good Q2 that's coming up. That's what I believe is going to happen, but you have to give NIO time. The company is still a baby. Be calm, cool, and collected, and be patient, because this thing is still a monster with insane potential, and we're just getting started. That's what I have for this one. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening, and I will see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, and peace out.